Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the channel. Last week's episode, if you've missed it, we built this giant 16 by 25 foot outdoor patio slab. And these aren't your classic cement concrete pavers. These are an alternative. Go check them out. It's a fantastic product that I'm really proud of. But today's a whole new day. We're building a giant pergola to fit this giant patio slab. I want it to be big and I want it to stay within these pavers so it'll look more fitted. We're looking at roughly around 12 feet by 20 feet. That should be big enough for sure. So what we need to do is take out some of these pavers and start digging out our footings. Very important with the footings, we need to go below our frost line, which is gonna be quite a bit of digging. These pavers should be relatively easy because they kind of snap onto this grid as opposed to just laying concrete bricks down. So we'll need to find out where our concrete forms will go. I don't wanna take too much of this grid off because we're gonna need to snap the rest of the pavers in. So what I'll do is I'll trace this thing around and hopefully it'll be a perfect amount without taking too much. I think I might need the circ saw on this one. Well, we could have just done that, huh? That worked out well. All right, so these concrete forms are gonna go just like that. And I just remembered I have a post digger. Woo! Say hello to my little friend. Ryobi 40 volt, brushless, 8-inch cordless auger. This is too easy and too fun. We'll be done in no time. Now this would be a lot easier if my auger was not an 8-inch, but a 12-inch, because this guy bought 12-inch tubes. So I have to do a little bit of sweat equity in here. We're getting there. Now it's important to get past a certain level because we got to get past that frost line. So when winter comes in, and then it thaws, it won't create any problems for us. Oh, perfect. Only 3 more to go. Best line ever. Only 3 more to go. Hey guys, real quick, I want to thank the sponsors of today's video, Best Buy. As DIYers, we work so hard to creating a beautiful home and a perfect space, and it's so important for us to keep that space protected. Well, that's where Level Lock Plus Smart Lock comes in. Most smart locks are techie and require you to add this clunky box on the inside of your home. Level Lock Plus is sleek and looks like a regular contemporary door lock, so you don't have to advertise to everybody that you have a smart lock.
Level Home is a company disrupting the smart home space. Their latest lock, Level Lock Plus, is a premium design smart lock that allows for you to never have to worry about losing or making copies of your house keys ever again.
Installation of the Level Lock Plus is extremely easy and straightforward.
The Lock Plus is enabled with Apple Home keys, so anyone who lives in your home can tap their phone to lock and easily let themselves in. With the Level mobile app, you can share access to your home with friends and family, or really anyone who needs to get into your home. And the Level Lock Plus comes with a single CR2 battery. It's so easy to change because it lives inside the bolt.
When it comes to using the Level Lock Plus, simply use your Level Home app, press and hold, and our door is locked. Press and hold again, and we have entrance.
But my favorite way of using Level Lock Plus is entering my house using Apple Home keys. Entering the house using the same way I pay for groceries, using Apple Pay. The Level Lock Plus is a stunning piece of hardware that keeps your front entryway clean and not techie and cluttered. So click the link in the description below and check out the Level Lock Plus for yourself. Now, let's get back to this video.
It's not wide enough. I'm usually pretty good about getting big things fit into small holes, but not in this situation. Here we go. My neighbor was right. I'm a glutton for punishment. First was rebuilding the entire garage stud by stud, then roofing, then siding, and painting, and now I'm digging this. I needed help, like mental help. Somebody needs to fix me, whatever's going on inside here. Oh, perfect, perfect. Okay, got our last footing in. Everything is the depth that I want because I want this thing to stop right at this grate right there so I can still put pavers around it and I'll have drainage and all that stuff. Speaking of drainage, I got to throw a couple shekels full of gravel. I'll use my road mix in there. That way it gets water, if it accumulates, it drains out, and then we'll start getting ready our concrete. All right, folks, off to a bad start this morning. Ordered lumber last night to be delivered today because they're, big long pieces. My trailer can't hold them. And I did my spacings at 20 feet. That's the length of it. But their boards, the 2x10s that I ordered, they only go up to 20 feet. And if they get the 22 footers, because I want to get a foot on each side, it'll take like a week to get here. And that's not something we can do. So I had to get here a little early. And as you can see, I had to bring my post, dig out another 4 set of holes to bring all my posts 1 foot closer to allow for me to have some overhang. It's super frustrating. I hate that we have to do that, but sometimes you gotta roll these punches. So we're gonna throw some gravel down, mix our concrete, start setting our anchors, and just hopefully it's smooth sailing from here. So I picked up these posts. They're 4x6 posts. That's where our post is going to be. And they're great. They just sink all the way down. You leave it all the way to the top here. There has to be a little gap there. And I have the string running. And the reason I have the string is to make sure that they're all pointing the same direction so that when we start connecting our pergola, everything's all lined up beautifully. Push the rest of this concrete under it to make sure it's leveled. Good there. Check that again. Beautiful. Onward and forward. So this last one's gonna be tricky. So I went to 4 different hardware stores, 2 different Home Depots, 2 different Lowe's, and nobody had, except for 3, I only found 3 of the 4x6 anchors. They're not gonna get delivered till like 2 days from today. So my only options are gonna be to go with the 4x4 anchor, while using a 4x6 post or using a 6x6 anchor. And I'd rather go bigger than smaller because you want this base to be secured. On the 4x4, it's much smaller. So the unfortunate part is this one is not gonna sit like that. It's gonna sit this way because I'm gonna have the 6x6 or 4x6 part running this way. I'm gonna paint them black, so I don't think it's gonna be a big eyesore unless you're looking for it. But it's one of those things, like you can't lose sleep about it. You just kind of have to adjust as the situation goes. So the string's not gonna help me with anything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my little etching with my marker here to play the role of the string, and hopefully it keeps me on track here. Those are the magic words, right? Hopefully. The lines work, this is set. Now we let it cure overnight. Tomorrow's the install day. See you in the morning. So your boy decided to be smart and proactive for the first time ever and seal the wood and lumber that we're gonna be putting together beforehand, before we start installing it, because then everything's gonna drip down, get our patio all dirty. I'm sealing it with Thompson Water Seal. It's a transparent wood sealer, Harvest Gold. So it's got the stain, it's got a sealer. They say this should last for 5-year fence and siding, 4-year deck. So who knows? I think the climate has a big say to do with it, but that's what they're saying. On average, I think people are redoing their decks every like 2 years, but time will only tell. So got them all primed up here. We're gonna do boards, a couple of sections at a time. In the meantime, let's go putting our posts because those are already dry. Our footings are all nice and dry. First thing we need to figure out is how tall we wanna make this pergola. The boards that I got are 12 footers, and 12 is gonna be, I think, a little too tall. So we might cut them down to 10, but let's see aesthetically what looks good. I think 10's the ticket here. All right, slice it at 10, start installing it, make sure it's all leveled, and then don't hurt your back. Let's see if I can do this by myself. At least we know it's leveled. All right, so that should hold it in place. This thing's gonna be massive. I think it's gonna be just about as tall as this house is. This is ridiculous. So this is why it's so critical that you use a little level when you set your anchors, because if that's not level, there's no way you're gonna get this puppy leveled. All right, last post is in. Now we can start working on the long parts, which I guess we'll call them rafters, ceiling joists. Ceiling joists. That might be ceiling joists. So we'll start throwing them on, but I want to cut off the end. So let's work on that first. So I'm mitering these ends because I think if we miter them and we put it up, it's going to give it more of this like artistic-y kind of look, feel to it. Because I mean, the boards are all just dimensional lumber, so there's not a lot of flair to it. This will give you the flair. I need to figure out how to throw these boards up by myself. So the conclusion that I came up with is climbing on top here, securing a block 2x4 across, and one over there. And then therefore I could just put one end on, walk the other side, pick it up, set it on top. And I think I should be able to do that by myself. By myself. Wow, this thing's actually working out the way I planned it. I'm hitting them with these giant 5-inch lag bolts that are not going anywhere. I'm putting 3 on them, which is more than enough. Now we're gonna throw the back side and start working our way to this side. So far we're doing okay according to plan. All right, I'm assuming this was the hardest part, so I think the hardest part is done. Knock on wood. So next we're gonna put the next layer on top. For the next layer, we're gonna be using 2x6s. So it's gonna go 2x10s, 2x6s, and then another layer of 2x4s. It's gonna be a lot of stacks. Ready to throw on the cross members. These are 2x6s, like I mentioned. I'm gonna miter them as well, 30 degrees. Start throwing them on top. I got 22 of them. So when I did my math, they're roughly gonna be about 9 inches apart, which is perfect. This is looking really great. I'm kind of have a little bit of regret. I kind of wish for these cross members to not go with 2x6s, but go with maybe a 2x8, close to 2x10, just to kind of build this bigger, massive thing. But I'm staying optimistic because we're gonna have a third layer that goes across. So maybe by having multiple layers, why am I so winded? Maybe by having multiple layers, it'll create this girth that I'm looking for. Oh man, I'm exhausted. That's 22 boards, hand brushed with sealer, cut, and thrown up all by myself. Speaking of throw up, I'm gonna probably throw up after this. Now that's in, I'm gonna space them out accordingly so they're all even, and then we'll start securing with the hardware that we got. We got all our cross joists up. They're spaced about 10.5 inches on center. And now to secure them, on my previous pergola, I just did 2 long screws at an angle. You could do that, but I wanted to have a little bit of hardware, a little bit flair, and a little bit better security. So I'm using these hardware pieces that I bought at Home Depot. Here's the annoying part, $2.50 a piece versus the galvanized steel, whatever, it's like 98 cents. So for 44 suckers that I needed to throw up there, that's like 110 bucks. That's annoying, but buy once, cry once, and it'll look great. A nice solid base here. Let's start working on the last finishing layer on top and see what we're gonna work with there. All right, I finished pre-staining these boards ahead of time, 2x4, 14 feet long. Only mistake I made is I should have ordered the 20-foot long ones. So what we'll have to do is kind of stack them together, butt them back to back. But they will get miters in the end because I think this perspective is gonna look really cool. So the idea here is gonna be to have this 2x4 stick out a little bit past this section here, and then I'm securing it from both sides, basically in an X with screws, outdoor screws. That's most important because water will be coming in here. When you're doing that sideways, you kind of have to do it like stagger them one by one, because as soon as you're screwing in this part wants to move that way, so then you have to balance it out this way. So a little bit back and forth, but I think we'll get through it. Not gonna lie, this is probably the most annoying part, putting these last bit of layers on. It's an awkward angle. It's hard to get in there. I think eventually I'll have to get on the very top of this pergola and secure them. I'm not too excited about it, but we should be fine. Hung a little string just to make sure all my ends are about the same, but not enjoying the process. Might be the sketchiest thing I've ever done. Oh, please don't buck. I don't like heights, I don't have rooftops, and now I just realized I don't like being on top of pergolas. So I threw up the remaining of the boards on top. Granted, yes, they're not 20 feet long. They were 14 feet, so I added another 7 feet to it. And I made a gap for them so that when the wood expands and contracts, it doesn't start buckling them. So now that's done, the last thing we need to do throw on this pergola are these wedges. So either wedges or corbels, whatever you want to call them, they're gonna go inside here and then hug against that. Now, structurally, do we need them? I don't think so. They do give a little bit of reinforcement of back and forth sway. I'm not terribly concerned about that, but it also gives that a little bit added piece for decoration. So there's a little bit more, I don't know, flair to this thing. So ideally, it's gonna sit like that. And then I got a nice 10-inch lag bolt that will go in through here. And then we'll put another one down below right here. And then with these, we're gonna use the same black ones at the side. Now, the problem is these 10-inch ones, they didn't have them in the black, they just have them in this weird green, which I don't know, that's the color of choice. Like, who's wanting green hardware? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our brains together and just go a little old school and dap up, and boom, we have a black screw. Solutions for everything. I like it a lot. It's subtle and it's a little extra detail to kind of get fixated on. I think it's a good call. Ah, this is gonna give me trouble. Why'd you going in there? You're supposed to go in there smoothly. Ugh. I'm in the home stretch and I blow this screw out. All right, she's done. Let me step back and show you guys how this thing looks from the back. All right guys, so the budget breakdown for this project all in all, with the concrete footings and everything that we did to stabilize with the hardware, that was close to about $300. For all the lumber that you see that's hanging up here, that was about $1,200 bucks, plus another gallon and a half, which was probably about 80 bucks. Well, we spent 100 on stain. So all in all, roughly around a 1,500 budget if you want to throw a giant pergola like this in your backyard. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. This video means the world to me. Make sure you tune back next week where we're going to start demoing the inside of this house. In the meantime, here's the video I think you might enjoy.